We are free to speak. My name is Paul. I'm a clinical psychologist.
I am Bobby, and I am an American academic, although I'm retired. I retired last year. The last couple of weeks, Paul, we've had some interesting discussions about wokeness. We kind of decided to tackle that as our first topic.
Yeah.
And we got some responses.
A couple, yeah.
Couple.
Interesting ones, really.
Couple interesting ones. We had one that maybe you would be better qualified to answer than me. And we got somebody who said, in Uganda we have nations, the ones colonialists wrongly called tribes. So maybe you can offer some insights about what exactly this person is saying, or what they're objecting to.
I think it's more about the definition of what tribes are and what nations are. A tribe would be a group of people, whereas a nation would be a sovereign territory. So a tribe could be a nation, but could as well be just a tribe. So we could have a nation with more tribes under it, but because we could also have a tribe which is a nation on its own. So I think what they meant is pre-colonial times, most of the tribes in Uganda were as well sovereign nations on their own. So they were right to say what they said, but I remember how I responded to them was that while they might be right in their own perspective of looking at it, it may not really change our argument. To respond to the person that commented, yes, there are tribes in the country which may not necessarily be nations anymore, but it wouldn't be any problem if a tribe were to be a nation. But it's just that the reality of what we are facing right now is that these tribes are no longer nations.
The distinction between whether or not they're a tribe or a nation doesn't really have any bearing upon the arguments that we're trying to make. We should be aware of and acknowledge these issues of social injustice, so we recognize that. But the issue is, what is the best way to go forward in addressing some of these inequities? And we feel that many in the woke camp are not addressing them in appropriate manner. So we're not condemning wokeness as a concept in and of itself. We're criticizing the way it's being practiced, which is not constructive and is not helpful.
The way it's being malpracticed, I think that would be a better term.
Yeah. We did get a second comment, Paul, that I wanted to talk about, and I'm kind of hoping we can use this to transition into another topic here. Maybe we discuss issues related to gender.
Okay.
So the second comment that we got was, thank you, Bobby and Paul. We need more people speaking on this. If someone has decided that they want to be of other genders, don't come and force me to accept you and make room for you in my box. These woke genders should get their own box. And it's even worse for us women, since some men have decided to steal womanhood from us, and now we are the bad guy for fighting for our space as women. It started with this idea that people should be able to go to the bathroom of whatever gender they identify with. And now we're in this situation where there's an 82-year-old woman who 2 years ago was kicked out of a YMCA because she complained that there was a biological male in her locker room who was undressing in front of girls, in front of minors. These were children. She went to complain, but the response of the YMCA was to expel her.
You know, that it's a way like altering objective reality.
But she's actually suing the YMCA, taking them to court. Whether or not she'll win, I don't know.
Probably not. But she would win in Uganda.
She would probably win in Uganda, yeah.
But even in Uganda, it would be tricky because even the judges fear such cases, because these cases they draw so much attention from the people who are giving us money anyway. We're slowly adopting what the Western world has adopted, and while it's being imposed on us, because I don't think we are buying it 100%, but it's being imposed on us basically because we are poor, and these countries they're able to fund some projects here, they're able to fund our budget and whatever. So we're having it more appreciated in the political world. So for us who are not so much into politics, this really doesn't bother us as much. So you find that the reason why this is happening is because of pressure from people from your side.
Right.
It's not Bob, it's the people from your side. They're probably pressuring them to accept this thing that is actually taboo in our culture as Africans. They are forcing us to accept what we would ideally think is unacceptable. in our culture. And how they're doing it is they're stewarding it through using money and funds. I've worked in the non-profits for a while. I know friends who lost their jobs because funding was taken away, because Uganda was all of a sudden a transphobic place. So they took away funding, people lost jobs, and it was unfair for them, because these are battles of politics.
You can look at it that this is a form of cultural imperialism, where you see in America taking its values, or the West taking its values, and trying to enforce them onto Uganda.
That's why it's good that I'm talking with a native English speaker, because now he has brought it out. It's cultural.
This is a real example of cultural imperialism, but it won't be recognized as such because it doesn't conform to the woke narrative to call it cultural imperialism.